Lily Patrascu. Lily, can you please introduce yourself? And welcome to the show.
Welcome, and thank you so much, Harry, for bringing me on the show.
My pleasure.
I traveled from very, very, very far away.
Oh, yes.
Which is from the next room.
From the next room, yeah. Because Lily is my partner, and we're going to be discussing 5 steps to become successful as an influencer in this grow your influencer strategy show. So, Lily, can you please talk about your books? You have your book here. So you wrote the book. What does the name of this book? Peak Performance Sales, right? So tell me, have you written a book? What do you do with books? Do you like books?
Okay, let's start.
What do you do?
Okay, let's start with the beginning.
I don't know what you do. Tell them.
Okay. So, first of all, my name is Lily Patrascu, and I'm a book publisher and personal branding coach. And I can help you create a book that transforms the world. And I really do hope that that you can hear us. And if you can, then, and if you're watching us on Facebook, then thank you so much for watching. If you're watching us on YouTube or other platforms, again, thank you so much for watching. You are going to have a lot of fun with us because this is how we are, a lot of fun.
Are
right?
we? Yeah.
Yeah. And basically, I help authors to get published. And in the process, when they become published, they also become luxury influencers with time as well, through a process that I've managed to fine-tune over a few years. And through that, Harry and myself have been able to be booked to speak around the world. And we have also become authors, and not only authors, but actors as well. Now, I have never dreamed about becoming an actor or an actress, but Harry and I were featured in a movie called Fear, the Invisible Man, right? And this movie is going to be showcased at the BAFTAs in February next year. And this is what can happen when you become an author, and then later on when you become a luxury influencer. And what can happen is that you can attract
all the books that you have published. Yeah, they are getting too many. Yeah,
so you can attract a lot more opportunities. Some of them that you do not expect. Now, you do attract those kind of opportunities if if you follow a certain strategy that I'm going to hopefully talk about this evening, if Harry doesn't distract me too much.
I won. Okay, so today we are talking about 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. And Lily, can you please share with the audience what would be, in your opinion, the first of the 5 steps that that people have to follow to become an influencer? And first of all, tell me, why should we be talking about influencer yourself? Are you an influencer? Are the people following you on Facebook? You know, this is funny. Yes, I have 250,000 followers in Facebook. And when I do one post, I have 500 people like it, 200 people, 100 people, 20 comments, things like that. Lily, how many followers you have in Facebook?
I have roughly 85,400, I think. Roughly.
There you go. She have 85,000, but the interesting thing is she put the post 1,000, 2,000 likes, 3,000 likes, 4,000 likes. Yes. So what I'm thinking, yes, that if you're chubby and bald, you get less likes. Yes. That's my view on this Facebook thing. Anyway, but really, social media is about knowing your audience. And Lily, can you please share with them what do you think that you have in this high engagement as an influencer in your own social media before we share with them the 5 steps to becoming successful as an influencer?
Okay, so let's start with the beginning. First of all,
what's the beginning?
Am I an influencer? Well, technically, yes. I would consider myself a micro influencer because I have 85,400 roughly followers in Facebook, and
I'm also. What? How about me? Micro influencer as well?
Well, I don't know.
250,000 and micro also. We happy to be micro, no problem. We have micro. Okay, keep going.
And you're technically a micro influencer as
I'm
well.
a micro also.
Influencer,
Oh
yeah.
my God. Okay, good. So welcome to the micros. We are the microbes.
Okay, so you have 250,000 followers, just over that, in Facebook as well, and you have roughly 30,000, I think, in Instagram, or a little bit less. Yeah, just under 30,000 followers in Instagram, and I also have slightly less than 30, and roughly 12,000 in LinkedIn as well. Now, let's share about some of the strategies for that, right? So how did I go from 100 followers roughly in January this year to 85,000? So one thing that I started to do is, first of all, to be very consistent about posting, right? So I started posting every single day. And now before you start posting about any particular thing, you have to have a particular message, right? So I have clarified my message because I've always been about creating books that make a difference of some sort. And then this year, it became more clear that I wanted to do books that transform the world. And I think that really plays very well. I mean, it kind of collaborates very well with the idea of Harry, which is that he can help you to tell stories that transform the world. And that is because he believes that your voice can transform the world, right?
I really do. Speakers are leaders. Your voice can transform the world.
Yes. So basically, before you do anything, you have to have a message. You have to have some sort of idea that people get on board with. And it has to be something that you care about. And it has to be something that it encompasses, in a way, your why and the reason why you do certain things. And at the same time, it's a message that your target market is very much attracted to, right? So for me, for example, I'm really looking for the kind of people that watch, for example, TEDx, or they watch the Mind Valley, or they are interested in making a difference of some sort with their business, their product or service. And I knew from the beginning that these are the type of people that I wanted to serve. And initially, I think my message was not that clear, but this year it became even more clear, and it is books that transform the world. And that's the kind of people I want to help. Businesses that transform the world, entrepreneurs that transform the world, people that are making a big difference, right? So before you start anything, you need to get really clear on your message. So what is your message? And the minute you have a very clear message, that is when it's very easy for you. I mean, not very easy, but it's a lot easier for you to become an influencer, right? So
and then in your view, in your view, what would be the first step? Everyone write this down. First step out of the 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. Lily, the stage is yours.
Okay, the virtual stage. Okay, so one of the first few steps is to become an author. Because when you become an author, what happens is that you are, in a way, obliged. You have to create a message, right? So you become an author. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is to become a charismatic speaker. Step number 3 is to elevate your personal brand, your image, and your social media image. Step number 4 is to upgrade your marketing. And step number 6 is to upgrade your sales and personal relationships.
Well, Lily, you don't supposed to say all the steps now, because otherwise, now they already know all the steps. You're supposed to say one step and explain the step, then second step and explain the step. So you keep the people until the end. If you tell them all the steps now, they leave the broadcast. So now let's repeat again, continue. First step, and expand the first step. And after you take the second step, and after you take the third step, you need to expand on the step, because if we tell on the step now.
Well, there's a lot to say about each step.
Okay,
right?
So now we expand in these steps, yes?
Okay.
So step number 1, being an author. Tell us why it's important to be an author. Why it's important to have all this book around there, and expand on that. Yes. And then we will expand in the step number 2. You already know what is it, but our intention is to keep always the secret because we want you to take you until the end, right? But anyway, expanding the step number 1 before we go into step number 2, right?
Okay. So now I want to check, before I do that, I want to check who is watching because I do want to engage
Valeria,
with you guys.
hello, how are you? Thank you to see us.
You.
You can see there in front of you, it's in front of you who's watching,
Is that from
Lily.
Facebook? Harry?
Yeah, this is from Facebook, and if they're right from YouTube, you will also see it there. This is the first live interview of Lily broadcast in our studio, so she's getting along. You don't need your phone, you don't need anything. Whoever is writing in Facebook and YouTube, you can see in front of you.
Oh, okay, very good.
You see, Valeria, hi, great people, special skills.
Okay, I think we need to tell Miles that he has to also share to your personal Facebook.
Okay,
right?
Yes. Well, Miles, I don't think the Miles is listening because working, but next time, yeah.
Okay, next time. Okay, good. So now, whilst I'm doing that, why don't you tell him?
Okay.
Okay? Okay. So everyone who is watching, right? Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching in Facebook, so basically the very first step, just tell Miles to share it, okay? So you will notice that we're gonna do random things like that because this is the very first broadcast that I'm doing with Harry.
Where do you want me to share this?
No, not there, Harry. We need to do it in WhatsApp.
I think that better you do it and I talk with them.
Okay.
Yeah? So this is how we're going to do. I don't know what Lily wants me to do. So in the meantime, we are in the 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. And the first step is become an author. Honestly, for me, become an author changed my life. Actually, I can say that put me in the map. And the way that my Facebook was, the impact that it has, and all the time that I was invited to speak on the stage to talk about my book, I started this career that I have right now as a motivational speaker, as an international speaker, and as a broadcaster right now. So writing a book, it was something that changed my life. And there's something interesting about when you write the book is the following, right? If when you decide to write the book, that you put your book cover, even the ex-girlfriend that they swear that they will never talk to you, they will reach back and say hello. So that's how powerful it is, right? When you start in your path to write the book. Okay, Lily, first step of the 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. What is it?
Okay, so the very first step is to become an author. Now, why is this important? It's because when you become an author, you clarify your message, right? So I've helped a lot of authors to clarify their message. And what happens is that, now imagine that if you were to go to a branding agency and to ask them to give you the name for your business, basically to brand your business by finding what the name is of your business and, to do the research all around that. What you'll discover is that they might charge you £100,000 to do that. Now, there is an easier and better value way to do this, and how you would do it is you can write a book. And when you write a book, what happens is that in a way you are forced to create a message. Now, what is this message? It has to be a message that encompasses everything that you're about, right? And it has to be something that clarifies your why. And it has to be something that can be turned into a workshop, a keynote speech title, an online course title, right? So there are very many ways of creating a great book title. But what we're looking at here is not just creating a great book title for a book, but also creating that book title that can be turned into several streams of leveraging it, right? So when you become an author, what happens is that, especially with the kind of program that I have, which is called Grant for Speakers, what happens is that I can work with you in order to create a brand message. And this brand message is something that you feel aligned with. It encompasses everything that you're passionate about, that you have knowledge in, and then it's something that your tribe feels very much attracted to, and at the same time, it's something that you can leverage in multiple ways. Now, why it's important to do it like this is because when you have clarified that message and you've become an author, then you have raised your authority, And it's not just that you have raised your authority, because a lot of people write books, but then they don't become influencers, right? And the reason for that is because they don't select the right book publisher, and also they don't choose the right book, because it's not just important to create a book of any sort, of any sort of any sort of book, right? Because a lot of people come and they say, I want to do a book about my story. And the thing is that people don't care about your story unless you are able to turn that into a system. Now, when you are able to turn that story that you have into a system that other people can follow, that is when your story becomes a brand story. It becomes something that you can leverage in order to put all of your passions and everything that you've done into one message. And what I can help you do is to, in a way, to find Wally, right? Like if you're familiar with that coloring book for children, where children look for Wally in that big crowd of multicolored people, and there's this little man called Wally that you can find in this coloring book. That's very similar to what I do. And what I do is basically I can help you to find that thing that is something that you think about, that is part of everything that you do. And it's almost like your everything becomes your one thing. And that one thing is your message. And that one thing is also your online course title, your workshop title, the name of your brand, possibly the name of your business, lots of different things. This is how you can leverage it, right? And that is the very first step of becoming an influencer. You become an author. When you become an author, you are seen as an authority, and you structure your thoughts. And I think that I always say that I can help you create books that transform the world. And the very first thing that you do when you create a book that transforms the world is that you transform yourself. And that is a really key thing. You transform yourself because many times you have so many passions, so much knowledge, so much expertise, and so many different things, and you're perhaps confused about how can you really put everything together. How about if you, for example, you like dancing and you like cybersecurity and you like, I don't know, playing the piano, and you also like different things. So how can you put it all together into one message where you feel like there's all of you, and it's okay to show all of you in one message, right? And this is my gift. My gift is in a way to show what is your gift, to elevate you, to put you on a platform where you can show your gift.
So basically, people don't care about you. People don't really care about you. People don't care about your story. People don't care about your biography. People only care about what can you do for them. So until you don't package this message in the right way, then we won't be able to take it to the next level. So this is how it works. And a book is a specific type of book that will help you to elevate your brand and to have this core message, right? That will make a big difference in your life, right? So very good, Lily, very good. So all these books that you have seen here are published by Lily's Brand for Speakers. Is actually all these, they are motivational speakers, coaches, consultants, property investor, blockchain investor. This is Lily herself. This is a property investor, motivational speakers, more books here. So the whole point is that they're heavy. Oh my God. Okay. So the whole point here is that when you write a book, a process happen in your life. They create some of the Lily's authors that spoke with me, and they're telling me that this is like the gym for the mind. Yes, Teuta was telling me that this, she already wrote 2 books. Now she's thinking to write 3 already, part another one. So she said that writing is the gym for her mind. So she really likes a lot of exercise, I have to say. Yeah, she's writing a lot of books. Then, but the writing process of the book is something that actually helps people to discover what they really want in life with the right coach, with the right mentor. So basically that process that you have, like Christian, for example, he got like 20 years this idea in his head, and we would be Lily was able to concentrate on that, to put in a message, to design a system with him, and now all is packaged in the right way, right? So now we're gonna move to a second step to become successful as an influencer. Lily, in your opinion, what would be the second step? This is not the point that you reveal the second step. No, before, yeah. Know what you did before. Okay. Now is when you say it.
Okay. So the second step is to become a charismatic speaker. And you may notice that this is something that Harry is very good at. Now, it's a little bit difficult to become a charismatic speaker because I believe, to some extent, you either have it or you don't.
I go with practice, I think.
However, I do believe that there are certain things that can be done in order to look a lot more charismatic, right? So being a charismatic speaker is very important because regardless of what you are selling, whether it's a product, a service, or an idea, or a business, there is always that requirement for people to connect with you. And the more they connect with you, the more they can, you have this ability to sell, right? And this is really a key thing of being able to sell. And when you are able to sell, that is when you can upgrade your brand.
Oh, we have some likes in Facebook. That's very good.
You can expand your business.
Some hearts in Facebook. I saw already. Some people are floating hearts in Facebook. This broadcast is going live in Facebook and in YouTube at the same time. And I saw the hearts flying.
Oh, that's
now they're not flying anymore.
Okay.
I press. Woo.
Okay.
That's flying again.
Okay. So what's important is that you need to become a charismatic speaker, right? So you'll notice that there are some people who can easily do that very, very easily. And I think that some steps to become that is, first, are you able to be genuine, right? Are you able to be yourself? And I can tell you that I've gone through a journey where I think that when you're an introvert, right? I'm an introvert. I'm a funny introvert, which means that I'm an introvert and nobody knows about it, right?
Okay.
And and I make jokes that only I understand.
Yeah, she does also on the stage. On the stage as well, in front of thousands of people. Sometimes do the joke and nobody laughs. Yeah, but never mind.
Yeah. So what's funny is that when you are an introvert, it can be particularly hard to be charismatic, right? So I think that, for example, for Harry, it's a lot easier because when you're an extrovert and you're comfortable connecting with people, then it's easier for you to be charismatic. And I think to become charismatic, you need to have this, you need to do your best to be yourself, right? And not just to be yourself, but to be authentic. And what I've discovered this year is that the less makeup I wear, the less, I try to create this perfect look, the more my audience likes me. And that's something I've discovered that I thought was quite interesting. And it's not only that, you become charismatic also when you are happy, right? So find a way to be happier. So for me, for example, the more I exercise, the more I work on my energy, the more I forgive as well, anything from the past. And the more I try to work on healing. That's what I've discovered is that's what makes me a lot more likable as a person and as a speaker. And that's what makes me a little bit more charismatic, right? So there are some people who are naturally a lot more charismatic than others. But people like me who are very introverted have to work that little bit harder to be charismatic. And for me, my personal journey has been being myself has been very, very difficult, and showcasing, the real me is a difficult journey. But like me, you can also do it. And how you can do it, you can take small steps, right? Because I think that to become a charismatic speaker, you need to let go of that fear of criticism. And that fear of criticism has been something that has stopped me in the past from sharing
yourself, right?
From sharing my message. And the more I'm comfortable being myself and letting go of anger from the past and things like that, the more I forgive. And every single day I work on healing myself, and I work on forgiving more and on being kinder. When I do that, what happens is that I become a lot more charismatic. So what you'll notice is that not just as speakers, but in general, as business people in general, we work a lot on our outer image. And I think it's just as important to work on our inner image.
Yeah, true.
And what I mean by that is, for example, because Harry's a very genuine and nice guy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
It's
finally, some words. Finally.
It's very...
It's 25 minutes.
It's very easy to connect with him. You know what I mean? It's very easy to connect with him because he's a genuine, nice guy.
No.
But other people that are a little bit more cautious, like for example, I'm also a nice girl, but I am a bit more cautious about people just because I've been scared in the past of different things happening, and I've had a lot of trauma. So because of that, I'm a lot more cautious. And because of that, people also have this barrier in terms of connecting with me. And what you'll find is that the more open you are, the more you'll let that go, the easier it is for people to connect with you. And the easier it is for people to find you more charismatic as a speaker, right? So, and so the more you work on yourself and your inner self in terms of healing, in terms of health, because for example, imagine I've suffered from a lot of headaches and migraines. So if like I'm suffering from a migraine, it's very difficult for me to be, looking good.
Obviously,
whereas if you're, if I have a migraine, I'll be like,
it takes a lot of energy, this type of interview, right? So we have to engage with the camera. We have the steps there. So it demands, same like speaking on the stage, right? Same like speaking on the stage. It requires a huge amount of energy, and you have to be in the right mindset to do, right? Now Lily has opened the world of meditation for me. Yeah, in the last month. Yeah. So basically, I'm listening in meditation. Yeah, it's only one phrase in the meditation that we have to fix because it's you're gonna be a successful rich woman. So accept that phrase that we need to remove from our meditation. The rest is very good because the line is for her meditation, but I'm also listening to it as well. So I was deep in the meditation. I said, "You're gonna be a very rich woman." I'm like, "What?" But apart from that, yes, very good to work on yourself. And remember, your past is not your future. And I think that the biggest challenge that we have when it comes to charisma, when it comes to a stage, when it comes to be an extrovert, it has to do with the past, so with some incidents that happened in your past that make you this barrier defense. But the truth is, if we are in business, the truth is, if we are if you want to change the world, if you want our voice matter, we have to work like Lily had done, step by step, to become that charismatic. Now, is she charismatic? Yeah. She doesn't laugh a lot, but if you want her to laugh, it's very easy. You take a little bit here. You see? There you go. You see? So I can make her charismatic. I can make her charismatic very easy. You see? Very easy. I can make you charismatic. Yeah.
I do laugh a lot. I just don't.
Yeah, you do. You
randomly laugh.
Yeah. At home with your music, you do. Yeah. Okay, Lily. Third step. 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. So step number 3 is?
The step number 3 is to elevate your personal brand. Now,
what that means?
That means elevate your personal brand in terms of what you wear, your image.
How about my personal brand today? Is it good?
Well, it's okay.
Yeah, okay. She doesn't like this jacket. I don't know. Very good. It looked like the Wolf of Wall Street. You see, very, very corporate.
For some reason, I don't like this kind of design.
What's wrong with my squares? They are nice.
I mean, it's good because it has different color, but I don't like this design as much as the other suits that you have.
Okay, so there you go. So I cannot wear these suits not that much. Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah, I look like an investment banker with these squares. Okay, anyway. Okay,
so coming back to that, brand? So the step number 3 is to elevate your personal brand. Now, that breaks into elevate your personal image, so what you look like, and also elevate your personal image in social media in terms of your overall image. Is it consistent and everything? And the third one that is important is build your network of followers and networks on social media, right? Now, coming back to this, what's important about the image, right? So there's 2 things that I like to do in terms of the personal image. The first one is figuring out what is the thing that makes you look the best, because there are certain colors that you prefer, and also there are certain colors that make you look the best. And for example, there are a lot of women that prefer to wear black, even though they may not look as good in black unless they even that out with a different color. So there are a lot of women that look really awesome in white, but I would say most people do not wear white because it's a color that gets dirty, for example, and they wear a lot of black, right? So it's about figuring out first what makes you look really awesome, what makes you look like a luxury product, what makes you look not just awesome but confident, and what makes your personality shine through, right? So this is what I usually like to do with every single author. I look at what enables them to look the best possible with the least number of resources, so that they can upgrade their image. They have, their hair looking great, their coats or the jackets or their dresses or the skirts and trousers. How can they upgrade that in a way that they look the best possible with the least number of resources? And then, are there particular accessories that would enable them to upgrade their brand so that they look consistent? So I like to do this in two ways. Either, let's say that if you are very into wearing red, white, and black like me, right? You could choose, like me, to only wear those colors, and then you become consistently known for those particular colors. Or you can choose to be, for example, to have a particular theme regarding what you're going to wear. So let's say if you like to wear colorful things, then you can be that colorful person.
How about if I like to wear a color that doesn't come with my personality? What would you advise me on this? Let's say that I love yellow, but I look horrible in yellow. What can we do with that?
Well, ideally, you can tone it down.
Can you tell me when I look horrible?
Well,
can you sense it?
Well, of course, I would understand.
Depend on the person.
Depending on the person,
It's also depend on the business as well.
Yeah. So
how about if I like a white shirt and I want to do a business that is more royalty? What's gonna happen then? Because if it'll be more royalty, maybe it could be purple, but I don't like purple. I like white. So what can I do?
Well, we can look at, we can analyze all the different colors and how they align with the business that you want to do,
with your personality, your color of the skin.
Yeah.
So basically we have to compromise, yes? So Lily had to compromise between the business that you are, the color of your skin, the color of your brand, the color of your corporate, and after we do this, she does this massive research, then you come out with the right color for the right people, right?
Yeah, exactly. So now the problem is that a lot of times people don't want actually to do this big shift, right? But when they are willing to do this big shift, what's happening is that they can really turn their image from looking like a secondhand Volkswagen to looking like a Rolls Royce, and that's
why is important. Why is important to look like a Rolls Royce? Is it important? Really?
Yeah, it's very important. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Now, imagine that you are gonna go out, okay, and you're gonna find a candy on the street wrapped in mud. Yeah. Now, are you likely to pick it up and pay £1 for it?
No.
No. How about £10?
No.
No. How about £100? Absolutely not, right? In very extreme cases, let's say you're very, very hungry, maybe you could negotiate and say, oh, maybe I'll have it for 20p or 5p because you have absolutely nothing else to do, right?
Yeah.
But now imagine that now you have a candy that you like, a chocolate, candy, and then you find it in a Godiva shop, right? And it's very nicely wrapped. It has a very nice packaging. And perhaps you've heard from other people that it tastes really good. You've seen some reviews, and it looks really, really awesome. And perhaps you're also given a thing to try, and then you taste it and you're thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. Now, are you likely to pay £10 or £20 for this box of chocolates?
Yeah, I think this is what happened not only with chocolate, that happened with every single product that we have that is out there, right? So you have iPhones, and you have Rolls Royce, and you have certain pros that they are definitely, a Rolls Royce is a very luxury car, but the price is really, really high, right? But why people can afford these prices, and why people actually buy these products, is because they are unique, and they are excellent package, right? So obviously, and all this means the brand. So what is justified? Because Rolls Royce is the authority in luxury cars, right? So being your brand is to position yourself as authority, right? The higher the level of authority you can share with your audience, in business or services, that definitely will have a very good positive impact in your prices. So how we doing? Good. So now we're going to share.
So this was the personal image.
Okay, right? Personal image.
Now that continues with the personal image in social media. Now what I mean by that, when I mean social media, I also mean, for example, your WhatsApp image, right? Because a lot of people have as their picture in WhatsApp maybe a picture of a dog or a picture of a cat.
A picture of a flower.
Excuse me, yeah, or the
flower.
Picture, sometimes it's a lion. Sometimes it's a picture of a baby. Sometimes it's something else. And the thing is that is your image, right? And I've seen actually some of my clients, unfortunately, I've seen them having even a picture of their profile on Facebook was a picture of a dog. Okay. And then they
definitely love the dog.
They love the dog. Or
when people want to do business, they're going to do business with you, not with your dog, right?
Right. And then you have, and I've seen that a lot when you have a lot of people that have as a Facebook cover, they have, for example, uploaded a picture and they have not realized that maybe their head is cut off in the picture and they look like they are presenting underpants. Now, it could be okay if you want to sell Armani underwear and you want to be known as the underwear guy or underwear girl. It's okay. And again, I'm joking there. But you have to be very careful what you're uploading as your Facebook cover or LinkedIn
you're in
cover.
Specifically, you're in business. Social media have a different connotation if you are social, but if you're an entrepreneur, everything matters. Everything you do, every single post, every single move you do, it doesn't matter if in the social media, that increase or can damage your brand. And with damage the brand can damage this authority, and with damage this authority can damage the price that you can ask for your products or services. So it's extremely important how people perceive you and how people see you professionally in all social media as well as in the books, right, Lily?
Yeah. And thirdly, for example, let's say on Facebook or on LinkedIn, a lot of people have a lot of crap, right? Literally, they have a lot of crap on there. And what happens is that they shouldn't. There should be no crap whatsoever. There should be
no crap. No. Zero.
Yeah. So literally, there should be nothing like that. And the reason for that is because the Facebook and LinkedIn should look like a website in the sense that people go there and they should be able to understand. For example, if you're a photographer, they should be able to see that you have photographs. If you're a painter, they should be able to see some paintings. If you're a cook, they should be able to see some of your cooking.
If you're a book publisher, you should be able to see some books.
Exactly. And then if you're a speaker, they should be able to see some of your speaking results and everything. And if you are, I don't know, an investor, they should be able to see something. So basically everything that you do has to be correlated. You cannot put all sorts of things that are not related to what you do there. Now, a lot of people could say, well, this is my personal Facebook and I have a business Facebook for something else. Yeah, but the reality is that when people check you out, they're going to look at your personal Facebook. And that personal Facebook has to look like a website. It cannot look like a big dump of random things from everywhere. It has to look like a website. Now, what are you expecting to see on a website where you're trying to sell anything? You're expecting to see what is it that you sell, who is selling, why should I buy, what are the reasons why I should buy, what are the reviews, and who else has tried this, and who else says that it's good, what results has this thing had, and anything of that sort. In the same way, in your Facebook, you should have the same sort of things. And again, you cannot really openly sell on Facebook. So everything is kind of like undercover selling in the sense that you're just talking about different results. You're not openly selling, you're not openly sending links and things like that. You are just talking about different results, and you're undercover selling in the sense that you're just showcasing, for example, your art or your cooking or your photos. You're not necessarily sending links and putting, oh yeah, this is where you can buy and so on. So it's mostly because it's a personal one, in your personal profile, you're not supposed to be selling there, right? So you're just doing this undercover selling, which is called story selling. And how you're doing with story selling is you're creating stories that sell. So you're creating, for example, things that, let's say you did a photo shoot. Let's say you're a photographer, you did a photo shoot with a particular client. You can talk about the results this client has had. You can showcase a particular photo. And then when people connect with that amazing photo, you can tell the story behind the photo. And even though you're not selling, you're not giving, you can say a link for buying this or that. People will connect to that story, and they could just reach out and say, they are interested in this or that to collaborate with you, right? And then the next one is actually to build a social media network of followers. And that's because as long as you're giving them value and you're having the consistency. So these are some things that I've noticed is that first, be consistent. For example, for me, I'm very consistent in terms of using certain colors. Then I'm consistent about the messages that I have. And they're all aligned with books that transform the world, with a message to transform the world, with supporting businesses and people that transform the world, and stories that transform the world. So everything is kind of correlated. And what I've noticed is that people connect very much with this message of empowerment and positivity and kindness. And what I do is I write stories around that and how they relate to what's happening to me. So for example, even if I have a bad day, I will try to create a story about how it's possible to find the good in a bad day, how it's possible to find, for example, if I have haters or enemies or whatever, how it's possible to find the good in that. And through that, I'm empowering people, and that's the thing that's working. The other thing is having the authenticity and vulnerability. And I think that that works particularly for women. And I think for men, it's still very important to be authentic. And as long as you can do that and you can be vulnerable, I think people can connect with that.
Okay, very good. And this, it was the step number what?
Number 3, yeah.
Number three, step number 3 of the 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. And now, Lily, in your view, what will be the fourth step that every single one should be doing in order to become a successful? What's the word? Successful. What's the word? Successful.
Okay.
To become a successful as an influencer. Step number 4, everyone. Write this down.
The next one is to have good marketing. So as part of your good marketing, if you're a good and charismatic speaker, what happens is that you need to be very good. You need to become very good at the art of improvisation, or how I like to call it, the art of bullshit, right? So what I mean by that is that let's say that you go to an event, right? You go to an event, and what happens is that you will find out when you're there that they allow people to make a pitch of 30 seconds or 1 minute. And what happens is that you need to be able to all of a sudden create an elevator pitch about your business or your product, and you have to be ready to create that at this, with speed, right? So you need to be able to create that pitch, that elevator pitch. You need to become really good at the art of improvisation. And for that, for example, Harry has this program which is called Speakers Are Leaders. Well, he can train you how to do that. Now, imagine that you have a startup, or you have a business where you need funding, or you need collaborators, or you need mentorship, or you need support, or you need, different things. What happens is that you have to become really, really good at marketing yourself. And how do you market yourself? Is by first being able to create a really good pitch for yourself and what you do. Because sometimes you get these kind of opportunities, because when you're an author, what happens is that so many people want to interview you. So lately I've had I think I have 20 or 30 podcasts lined up for this year.
Some of them.
Yeah. And what happens is that you have to be ready for these opportunities, because some people will give you, if you're an author and then you start building your followers and so on, then a lot of people want to interview you. And for that, you have to be prepared with the art of improvisation, because sometimes people will give you a 30-second slot for you to speak at an event. Sometimes they will give you 1 minute. Sometimes they'll give you 5 minutes. Sometimes half an hour. Sometimes an hour. Sometimes 90 minutes.
You
sometimes
have to be
a full
ready.
day.
You do have
and
to
you
be
have
ready.
to be ready for that, right? You have to be ready to have something prepared to pitch your product, your service, or everything that you're offering. And you have to be flexible, right? So when I was much younger, when I met Harry, I was terrified of public speaking. And what happens is, when you're terrified, it does not matter if you have the most amazing product in the world. You can have a Rolls Royce in your garage, you can have a Ferrari, you can have whatever it is. You can have the best product in the world. If you don't know how to pitch it in a way that other people can understand at the speed of lightning, what happens is that you're missing out. And I know this because I've missed out on a lot of opportunities, because I used to go with Harry to many different events. And sometimes there were 200 people in the room, sometimes 2,000, sometimes 5,000, right? If you go to a Tony Robbins event and they say, oh, who wants to speak and whatever, and or you go to Millionaire Mind Intensive or whatever. So what happens is that if you don't have that ability, the art of improvisation, to just say, oh, I have a question, or I need this, or, or this is my pitch, or who wants to come on stage, or, if you don't take those opportunities and if you don't take them quickly, then you're missing out. And I'll tell you about one opportunity that I missed out that was really big. And I remember years ago, we were being trained by Richard Tan, the founder of Success Resources. We were trained because we were part of this network marketing platform, which was called New Tycoon. And I remember at some point that he put us all in a room. I think there were like 30 people there. Yeah. And I know he could see that I was one of the best in the room. I know he could see that because I speak very clearly and I think coherently and everything, right? And I could see that he would have wanted me to come and speak on stage. And actually he said, who would like to introduce me to the stage in front of 200 people tonight, right? Like, if you know who Richard Tan is, you will know also that people kill themselves. I mean, they throw themselves at him with, like they are dying for an opportunity like this.
It's one of the biggest event company in the world.
Yeah,
the CEO.
Yeah, so they have 10 million attendees. They bring the world's best, and they bring presidents and Tony Robbins and Robert Kiyosaki, the world's best. They bring the world's best to the stage. Now, people would kill for an opportunity like this. And, when the opportunity came to me, I remember that he said, who would like to introduce me to the stage in front of 200 people? Can you believe that I was like putting my hand up, but like this, like maybe he was,
if he's now,
maybe he okay, I'll put up my hand up, but really maybe he won't notice that I put my hand up. Literally, it was like that. And what happens is that you cannot hesitate when these opportunities come
I remember this opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember that you didn't want to put your hand up because you wanted to give me that opportunity, because you knew that at that time you were more confident than me, but you wanted me to have that opportunity. If Lily would raise
the hand confident that day, definitely she would got the opportunity.
Yeah, and I remember that was not the only opportunity that I missed. And I remember that night there was another person from our group that was chosen. And it's not because the other person was better, it's because of the hesitation, right? So when you're hesitating, when you don't have that confidence in yourself to pitch yourself, your product, whatever it is, and to just come up with, the pitch for whatever it is you're selling, or to just adapt to the situation, you don't have the art of improvisation, then what happens is that you're missing out big time. So your inability, in a way, to market yourself can have a detrimental and a critical detrimental impact on your ability to actually become an influencer, because you don't put yourself out there, you don't speak, then it's like the game is over, it's not over. I mean, you can still write, you can still do other things, you can become a blogger, but you just are not going to be an influencer in the speaking space, if you know what I mean. And then once you have these kind of opportunities to speak. What happens is, for example, I missed out not only one opportunity, I missed out on several these kind of opportunities because I didn't have the courage, the confidence, the clarity, the really the power, and mostly the confidence to speak out. And I had this massive fear of speaking, and it was luckily with the help of Harry that he created Speakers Are Leaders course that is about the fear of public speaking and overcoming it and becoming a charismatic, confident, and good speaker that despite the fear, you're just like able to go up there on large stages. And it was through his help that I was able to come and speak on stage for a couple of minutes in front of 1,300 people at the event with Les Brown, where Harry was a headline speaker in front of 1,300 people in London. Right. And since then, I've also spoken at different events. That day you spoke amazing. That day was and 12,000 students at a different university online and 42,000 students at a different university. So since then, what happens is that I've had these opportunities to keep on growing my ability to communicate online and in person with different people. And in fact, last year we were due to speak in front of 2 stadiums of people with 3,000 people, 3,800, 500, and 200 in different locations. And it was only because of the lockdowns and so on that everything was kind of shut down. But this is what was happening. This is what we had planned and everything. We had like stadiums of people waiting for us. So what happens is that when you master the art of speaking and marketing yourself through speaking on worldwide stages, that's when you can really leverage and you can become an influencer. Now, what's key as well is to have some sort of funnel and a website that will promote you as a keynote speaker. Because let's say if you want to be booked to be a keynote speaker or a speaker that presents workshops and so on, you need to have a video trailer, you need to have a marketing kit, and you need to have basically like an explanation of what makes you this amazing person. What's your brand story? What's your brand manifesto? What's your brand really about? What makes you you? And what's your experience? You know, what makes you this global superstar that people would want to book, right? And then when you can explain all of that and you can create an influencer website where people can see all of that in a luxury way, they are going to see you as a luxury product, and you'll be more likely to be booked to speak from the different stages. Okay, excellent. And now we're going to discover very quickly what would be the 5th step to become successful as an influencer. What would be the 5 steps to become successful as an influencer? Step number 5, Lily, quickly. So the last step is to make sales and to create partnerships with different people. So as you are, you can say, becoming an influencer, what happens is that people will start inviting you for different opportunities. And through that... And people want to become your business partner. A lot. Yeah. A lot of people want to become your business partner. A lot. Yeah, or your affiliate partner, or they offer you different collaboration opportunities. Which is very good, which is fantastic, actually. Yeah. It's really... That's really the whole point of becoming an influencer in the first time, or the first place. Yeah, exactly. So what happens is that as you're doing that, you need someone to be almost like a business development manager, because let's say you're speaking in front of 50 people, or you're speaking in front of even 10 people or 100 people. It doesn't matter the number. What happens is that if you're speaking in front of more than 10 people, let's say, even 2 people, what happens is that one of those people at least is likely to give you another opportunity. As long as you did your best, there will always be someone willing to give you another opportunity. Now, the thing is that initially you'll find that maybe you'll have even just like 3 people in the room, or 5 people in the room, or 10, or whatever. We started really, really small. Okay. But what happens is that if you do your best and you have fun in a small room, and then you're able to make the small room, you're able to, in a way, to fit the scene. You can say you're able to fit the chairs and everything in a way that it makes it look like the room was made specifically for those kind of number of people. That's when you really can leverage everything that you're doing to a new level, because at every opportunity you will get more opportunities, and every single opportunity will lead you to more opportunities, and everything just kind of mushrooms, and then all of a sudden you're a micro influencer, and at some point you'll become a major influencer, and then brands will come to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is how you become an influencer, how you become a successful as an influencer. Today, we're with Lily Patrascu in the 5 steps to become successful as an influencer. And to recap before we close it. So step number 1, how to become, step number 1 of the 5 steps, how to become successful as an influencer. Step number 1, write the book that will raise your authority, that literally will put you on the map, but not any book, a book that can know your story, know your bio, something that you can have a message, that message can become your workshop, this message can be your brand. Make sure that there is a demand for it, right? Step number 2, become a charismatic speaker like Harry. Smile, engage to people. Remember, public speaking is a skill. The more you practice, the better you become. The more you practice, the better you become. So become a charismatic speaker. You can get there, leadership with us, by practicing. Step number 3 is build a personal brand. Build a personal brand and boost your image. Take it to the next level. Step number 4, it was marketing. Marketing yourself. Learn how to market, learn how to promote yourself, and develop the ability to attract clients to you. And step number 5 to become a successful influencer is sales
and relationship, partnerships and collaborations.
Sales, relationship, partners, and collaborations. Thank you so much, Lily. Has been a pleasure to have you in my house, which is also your house. And for you guys that are watching the show, we're going to do a series of interview with Lily. Finally, after I did 24 videos in YouTube, Lily was so kind and said, you know what? I'm going to do some videos with you also, right? So now we're going to have her in this show, Influencer Growth Strategy Show, sharing with us knowledge and information, so you too can become a great influencer, so you too can become a great author, and you too can share your voice with the world. Because remember, speakers are leaders. Today we have the book publisher and famous personal brand coach Lily Patrascu with us. It was a pleasure to have you in my house, which is your house, which